The other day I came across a video of an avalanche on YouTube. It was recorded by a guy flying over it in a helicopter, and in his voiceover he attempted to describe the awesome beauty displayed in its unstoppable power to rearrange the landscape in its path. As I watched and listened, the concept of a beautiful power that radically changes things reminded me of John 13:31-32. Glory is the divine word for beauty, and the Greek word translated 5 times in these 2 verses as either glorify or glorified focuses specifically on the revelation of that beauty. John's gospel is full of references to glory, but here something new is signaled by the Lord's use of the word now. It sets apart this moment as distinct from all previous and draws attention to the unprecedented display of the beauty of God's power being exposed in contrast to the demonic strategy being played out. After Judas stepped into the black of night to execute his plan of betrayal, instead of the heavy-hearted hand-wringing we might anticipate, this passage suddenly erupts with the Lord's description of an avalanche of glory. And its power would change the spiritual topography forever. The canvas may have been stained with the dark hues of Judas's treachery, but against that backdrop, the bold colors and expressive strokes revealing the forceful beauty of the love of God would be more vivid as a result. Jesus detailed the spectacular cascade of divine splendor that overwhelmed Judas's treason. He said the glorification of the Son glorified the Father, and the glory of the Father was reflected in the Son. The abandonment, false arrest, mock trial, torture, and crucifixion would not be avoided, but Satan's sinister scheme would ultimately backfire and result in the unveiling of something, well, glorious. And that's God's intent for our lives too. Whenever we find ourselves dealing with dark twists in the storylines of our lives, it's the ongoing revelation of God's beauty on display in Jesus that overcomes that shadowy sequence and rewrites the expected narrative. 2 Corinthians 4:6 tells us that it's the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus that shines into our hearts and overcomes the darkness. As we make our way through this not yet redeemed and sin-scarred world, it's impossible to avoid those places where our paths intersect the corrosive plans of our spiritual adversary. But that terrain can be completely rearranged whenever we gaze with faith into the powerful beauty of God's love reflected in Jesus. And no matter how troubling your current circumstances might be, right now is a perfect time to do exactly that. As soon as I finish this sentence, I invite you to pause in the Lord's presence, allowing your spiritual eyes to focus on the exquisite might of His gospel and experience your life's landscape being reshaped by an avalanche of glory.